Hey everybody, welcome to Crypto Night in Canada. Look who I found.
Hey.
Look who surfaced.
He's come out of the woods. He's
Nanook,
here.
Nanook from the north. Nanook from the north. Oh, and there
he is.
We got one with hair, one without hair. Look at that.
I look like Neil 5 hours ago.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, dun. Welcome everybody to Crypto Night in Canada.
Hey, Gary. Hey, Rye, what's going on? Yes, we're off to the races.
Yeah. No.
And Tim, I don't know if you realized that Ryan had challenged me a little bet that I could get to and I got it.
He got to the 50 in the Shakepay.
And Ryan has sent me the money. I just haven't had the time to go to and support. Well, I was going to play a joke for Ryan, but I better not because I may get wiped off the face of YouTube.
Oh, so. Don't bug poor Ryan. Anyways, welcome everybody. It's good to see everybody here tonight. So before we get into the NFT racehorsing conversation, which I'm super excited about, I wanted to find out how you doing, Tim. What's going on? What's happening in your world in the walkabout?
Well, I just came to, I was telling you guys before, but for all the viewers and everybody that I haven't talked to in a while, I just came into the city to get clean for a month and a half and get a haircut and do my laundry. So, because this hotel, I'm in a hotel room right now, and yeah, I got Neil. I've been chatting with Neil a lot. Neil's coming up to see me. He's probably the only person who's not going to bail on me. But yeah, Neil's got me going on this horse thing big time. I think it looks good. You know?
I know.
Are you serious? He's suckered you into this?
No, I'm getting into it. What are you talking about?
Well, let's talk about the big trend lately, which has been JPEG NFTs, which has been Ether rocks and stupid, like an Ether rock sold for $1.7 million. I'm sorry, but we could do a lot of money with that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying if you breeded, even breeding a horse that wins a lot of ETH makes more sense selling for 1.7 million than a rock that does absolutely nothing. So being able to breed horses that can actually win more ETH and do that, that's kind of got me slightly, it's got me interested. At the price right now, I'm still, we were obviously just talking, but for the viewers, basically, I think DeFi is finally going to get its time to shine soon. Who knows? I'm wrong, and all my picks are still waiting to do anything. So don't follow me by any means. This isn't investment advice. But I think DeFi is going to get a little bump. NFTs will go down, and hopefully I can get in on these horses, and Neil can teach me how after we get some more run on that. But who knows?
Yeah, no, this is exciting. And so you're still heavy duty into your favorite picks, which if I recall, you're watching Matic.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, still and just let me reiterate, because if anyone's been following the market, and Neil obviously this is nothing new to Neil because I've been venting to him for the last 2 weeks. Solana's pumping like crazy. Avalanche is pumping like crazy. All these ETH type competitors and stuff like this. I've tried to use Solana. It frustrates the hell out of me. Solana. Avalanche, I don't know a lot about. I've just integrated though into the MetaMask, and I'm going to play around and see how it is. Phantom's the same. It's nothing crazy, and it's just started pumping, which Neil, by the way, called. I don't know if he called on this show, but he basically told me in the next 2 days later, it pumped 50%. So Neil's got to get more conviction, because I've told him I'm going to follow him more than me. But Matic is the most frustrating coin right now, because cheap payments, you could be settling NFTs through there and minting, but instead people are minting them through ETH, and it's costing thousands of dollars in gas again. So Matic's sitting there. Matic just got integrated through Coinbase. Users can settle in Matic and move their SHIT through Matic if it's ETH or anything like that for pennies on the dollar instead of paying gas. So that I don't feel is priced in. I just posted that on my Twitter the other day. But DeFi and Root right now has been hammered, and I've just shared with Tim and Nancy that I jumped back in and I fell for the fake breakout that totally went up 100% and then smashed right back down and below $1 right now. But for the weirdest thing is, I'm not that overly concerned about the long term. I'm not loving the way I played it, but I'm really optimistic that with Solana and Avalanche and all these things pumping, DeFi is going to be, and along with Router, the combo, are going to cross-chain swap all amongst those, including Binance Chain and ETH and all that. So it's like, to me, it's a no-brainer, but who knows? The market's not representing my sentiments. So,
well, Marie Claude wants to know, why is DeFi so low right now, do you think?
Yes, good question. And unfortunately, I do know the answer, and it is what it is. But basically, DeFi keeps opening up more and more farms. And the dual farms, which they keep opening up more, you can claim every day. So before, you had a vested interest. If you're in the popular farms, which is just one root, you only get DeFi, but the dual farms you get, so I'm in root and DeFi, I get root and DeFi a day. Every day you can claim, which means every day you can claim and sell. So someone else who's got way more money than the average Joe could just be claiming that, selling, going into another coin because they've got enough DeFi, who knows. You also have, about a week ago, you had all the vested interest from the original farms. So every 2 months, right, your vested interest gets released. So people who maybe are pissed off with DeFi, or once again just have so much DeFi, or obviously the ones that didn't like the price action, they can now sell their vested interest. So you're getting, and I saw that coming. I didn't think it was going to be as harsh as it is, but I guess I got, it's ride or die now, because if I sell now, I guarantee you I'm going to wake up like the other day when it pumped 50-60%. I can't jeopardize that anymore. So I got to kind of ride the ship. I am, though, growing more and more bullish with Root taking the first lead in price advance. So I sell a lot of my new DeFi. So I'm part of the problem, because I'm selling my DeFi every day that I make. Neil, I think, has followed me in on that, and we're buying more Root instead. Obviously, Neil's selling some and doing his horse thing. So right there, both of us have sold DeFi for other reasons. So other people are doing that as well. But if they're like me, I mean, the wallets, there's 18,000 wallets now in DeFi. It's been sitting in a channel for the last 2 months. It's just ripe for a pump,
So did you think that this sideways action and this up and down would draw out this long in the whole market itself, in the whole space?
Well, I think I'd said on another show, obviously when we were talking about, is this a bear market? Is there a bear trend? In 2020, there was a 3-month period where obviously I rode a high 6 months from May till November, May till March when the drop hit, and then it went up. March till September. It was September 3rd, because I remember the date, and that's when we had a Black Swan May 20th type event. And it went about 3 months. And I don't know, it's a weird trend I've been noticing, but I'm noticing a 3 months, a 6 month to 3 month little trend. Because we went November till about May, and then we've had about 3 months, and August started waking up. So I don't, obviously we look for trend patterns. That's a pattern I'm seeing. September is usually the bloodiest month though for crypto. So, and a lot of people are PTSD from last year, because everyone on my feed, it's September, everyone get back into USDC or Tether. And I'm thinking, well, May was supposed to be the greenest, and they screwed us.
Yep.
I'm not gonna jeopardize now selling to USDC, and they absolutely totally throw a green dildo up the other way.
Well, it's I think it's okay. Crypto Casey was saying that we're going to follow suit with whatever the stock market does. Because we're tied there still. It's all investing. And I'm still unclear with what's going to happen with a bunch of the stuff going on, partly because of supply chain issues. It does have a ripple down effect. It's hitting more than just food now. It's hitting things like our cousin works for a jacuzzi company, and they had the best year of their life, and got all the jacuzzis in. Now they're going to install. They can't now get the switch. They need a switch. They can't get the switch. So his wife, who just had a baby, is driving all over small town Ontario looking to buy the switch that they need to be able to keep installing. They can't get it.
Well, and the chlorine and all the
chemicals, the things to test,
like
can't get that stuff either.
Yep.
It's beyond words.
Well, I'm out in search of a new car right now, and I went to a Chev dealer, and out here in Kitchener, they have probably 6 new cars on the lot. The rest are used. And I went to a Mazda dealership today and looking at a CX-9, 1 on the lot, and probably a handful of CX-5s, which are big sellers. And it's just, you can't get anything. You can't get anything.
On the news in Ottawa today, I was like, let's see what the mainstream media is trying to scare everyone today. And sure enough, it was people were driving 6 hours into Ottawa from all the, out of things to try to get cars. And even then their lots are still dry here, but they're like, we have a list of people who want trucks. And we basically just call them up and it's like, whoever gets here first, you get the truck. McDonald's I've seen in the news in the UK was like, no milkshakes. All these things are, the storm is brewing. And I agree with you that there is a correlation, but the last month I have seen, it's funny because my uncle, he's in the cottage beside me and he's big into stocks. So we go over and we're always duking it out between like who's making more and who's doing what in crypto versus stocks. And he every day he was like, shit, my crypto or my stocks are down and it's red. I'm going, not Bitcoin in the crypto market. So there's been a little bit of a decoupling, but when there's a black swan event, expect Bitcoin and the market to go down. And but I mean, dominance right now too. Like that's why I'm so tripping out. Because dominance is dropping fast, yet some coins are still dropping and stuff. Like it's a really weird this year, and it's not going like it used to. It's not going from the large caps to the middle caps to the small caps. It's going from DeFi to NFTs, and hopefully, and then it went to DeFi again, and then it went back to NFTs, and now hopefully we get DeFi run.
Yeah. Well, today we were watching Anthony Pompliano and he showed a chart where Fidelity has put out a price prediction based on stock to flow ratio of Bitcoin hitting, what was it? Like it was by 2035, like $125 million per coin. There is a stock to flow ratio. Fidelity put it out. And I said to Tim, this is why I don't want to sell my Bitcoin.
Oh, you honestly think it's going to get that much?
If you look at it stock to flow, as long as there's
Len, do you think it's going to get that much? Make a comment.
2035. That's a long time.
Oh, yeah. And
2035. Do the math.
It might be inflation by then. It might just hit.
Oh,
that.
Yeah. And we may have an influx of flying squirrels in Kitchener.
Oh, no. That happens only in Ottawa with Tim
for all
Ferry.
the viewers that don't know me, I know Mark, obviously, I chat with now. I had 2 flying squirrels in my cottage. Give me a fun night for a bit. And I had a dog chasing after them, so it was pure comedy.
Oh man, sounds craziness.
Well, and you'll notice that the background and Neil's green screen is actually from me. It's a little product demo from my West Fraser lumber stock.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Anyways, wanted to say Natural Canadian says they've been waiting 3 months now for a Samsung part to fix my fridge. Okay, I have a new tip for everybody. It's not about parts in particular. I'm sorry, Natural Canadian.
How did the fridge connect that to you?
Because it has a point. This has a point. So I was at a golf tournament on Monday, and one of the gals that I was golfing with, oh, look, it's Ken. Hi, Ken.
Squirrel.
So I was golfing with this gal and she was telling me that you can go to, there's Facebook groups all over the place. And the Facebook group is called Buy Nothing. That's what the group is called, Buy Nothing. And then you find your city. So I went and I found the Kitchener Buy Nothing group. And they have people that post stuff that they're trying to get rid of out of their house. So you can come pick up whatever you need. But if you're in search of something in particular, so this is specifically for Natural Canadian's Samsung part, you can put it out to that group. And if somebody's got anything that could fix these things, they'll give it to you for nothing. I've watched it go on. They've got, thousands of members in these groups. I was like completely shocked by people just giving away stuff that they need to get rid of and helping people. So one gal said, I've just moved into a new place and I have no art for my wall. Does anybody have any art they're willing to give away? People were giving away art. It's cool. I suggest you go and have a look. That's all.
Cool.
What's up, Ken?
What's up?
How's Shib been doing? Because there's a lot of dog coins going crazy.
Shibs, yeah, it's okay, I guess.
Okay. I missed out on a 200. I was eyeing a dog coin in honor of kind of Ken on it was July 6th. I was just telling Neil this today. And it was like a bunch of influencers had taken over a dog coin that had rugged. And I was like, okay, they've got, and obviously the influencers are going to pump it. And I was like, oh, I'll throw 500 at it and we'll just like let it run. And I totally forgot about it until today. It was literally today. I'm looking at Twitter and all I see is all these posts. Look, let's see what it's up. It's up 200x since in a month.
There you go.
So did you put the 500 in or not?
No. Or else I would have, or else I'd be, you guys wouldn't even be here because you guys have invested with me. We'd be on some island right now. We'd be posting. We'd be doing this, but we'd be like, screw society.
What coin was it?
Can't tell you, that's a state secret.
Which coin was it?
Floki, Floki. Do not buy it right now because it's going nuts. But yeah, Floki, Floki.
Yeah,
but
there was something. There was something mentioned about Elon and Floki.
Yes, well, they're obviously trying to get Elon's attention, but they have partnered with Elon's brother, and whatever wildlife cause thing that they are doing, that is actually legit. And that obviously set off the chain of events in the last few days, weeks, or a week that has everything going crazy on it.
That's amazing.
And it'll get Binance listed and it'll get all that stuff probably. And I mean, you could still throw, but I wouldn't throw it at it. And especially with gas the way it is right now, like I've got this one girl who I've got her into Union a while ago and she's like, I want to sell. I'm like, you put $500 in at 4 cents around there. I'm like, for me to sell you right now, you literally have to add another, because she doesn't have the ETH to sell. So I'm like, it's $80, $100. And then the one day it was like 500. And then the next day, because of like all the NFT minting, it was like $3,200. And she's all mad at me. I'm like, why'd you throw $500? Like, I told you like 2 years, 3 years, that this thing could be, but I don't know.
I know. It's really, really hard. Rohit says that Omi's up 13% today.
Nice.
Yeah,
isn't it migrating over to an ETH-based platform?
Yeah, it's
Omi.
Omi, yeah.
Yeah, Omi.
That's what I heard. The rumor is it's going to go over to
2
ETH.
months ago. I heard something. I can't remember what chain it's switching to, but yeah, it's supposed to be to another chain.
Like away from away from its app. Like I thought it was settled in ETH as it was already.
I don't know.
No, they're putting it on a different blockchain.
Oh,
yeah, but I can't remember which blockchain it is.
Okay.
I thought they were going to a less well-known one a while ago. They announced it because it was basically they were going to dominate it. I think maybe they've changed their mind. I've kind of gone dark on Omni. It's just sitting in a safe.
Well, I remember reading that it said if you had it in a wallet, they would help you switch it to the chain. But if you're holding it on a exchange, the exchange would automatically put it onto the new chain.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, so we're on a Sendex.
So it's on an exchange. They'll take care of it for you.
Oh,
yeah,
good.
They'll take care of it all right.
You just got to remember that it's on a different chain, just in case you ever withdraw. You don't want to withdraw it and send it on the wrong chain.
Rohit is saying it's from GoChain to Immutable X.
Yeah, so Immutable X is the one that they announced a while ago.
Okay, so this is not new then.
I don't think so. Maybe it's just like it's about to happen. Maybe the migration's happening.
Interesting.
I haven't really been looking or watching Omni though right now.
Well, it looks like Gary Matthews from last week had invested $50 in Omi for his son. Remember, he was asking everybody, what about that? So it looks like he invested some money for his son, which is cool. So do we want to, does anybody have any questions for Tim Perry while he's here? Because he's not going to be here for very long. Or do we all want to jump in and see and learn about the NFT horses?
Yeah, because I'm going to leave and let Neil take over on that because it's Neil's night. Rohit, though, like a little side cool thing that I just learned about the blockchain that I didn't know if it was possible or not, but I had entertained. So Rohit, a while ago, we had spoke about this on a crypto night before. Rohit had sent Matic on the Matic chain or something, try to use it on Binance. I can't remember, like it wasn't integrated yet on Binance, and he tried to send the Matic through the chain through to Binance, I believe. I'm probably butchering the exact way he did it, but obviously it was gone, right? It disappeared. But Binance just integrated with Matic, and Rohit, it just magically showed up.
That's
Oh no!
Amazing!
That's a crypto win right there.
That is a total crypto win.
Yeah, it was out in the blockchain, hanging out, just waiting for that, like the synapse, obviously, of the brain to like attach, and then obviously once Binance integrated, it was like, oh yeah, I've been waiting a couple months now, you know.
Oh,
so I thought that was
man.
really cool.
Yeah. No.
That is good.
Yeah, Rohit says, yeah, it was brilliant to see it. I'm sure it was.
He's from the UK, isn't he?
Brilliant. You got brilliant. Is that what you're getting? The brilliant?
yeah.
No, Rohit's from Winnipeg.
Oh, no
So-
way.
I chat with Rohit a lot. Rohit actually too. It was funny because he gave me a tip to save a lot of money for using the web out in the middle of nowhere. So he's like, "Oh, I got this DeFi in my wallet." I'm like, "Yeah, man, because I sent it to you." Because I tipped Rohit. He's like, "You saved me a lot more money."
Don't click. It might
right?
be spooky doodles.
No, but he's right to have said that because last week we talked about not clicking on. Ken was the one, and or was it Neil?
No, it was
It was Ken that said, "Don't click on coins you don't know that is yours."
Automatically have value to them.
Yeah, the dusting coins.
Well,
Yeah.
Our buddy Brett, I guess it's more of a curse than a blessing, but we spent a good couple of weeks, at least I did, Neil as well, helping a bit because obviously if you guys know that you guys can check your wallets on the Explorers and it'll tell you everything that you have in case something hasn't shown up on a contract that you added or something. So I was helping with Brett with something, and then I'm like, okay, send me your address. I'll look up for something for you. And I noticed that he'd been given a hell of a lot of NFTs, like just NFT drops and airdrops that were, I've even noticed I've gotten airdrops, but most of the coins are worthless, right? So he had an Ether rock. So we're like, we got to find out if this Ether rock is legit. Sure enough, it ended up being a scam. But that's it. A lot of these things, you'll go in and you'll see, oh, I got an NFT, but they're just trying to get in, you click on it and it's got access to your MetaMask now. So like you have to be very careful.
So then how did you and Brett check? Because for a newbie, if I got that, I wouldn't know how to check if it's legit or not.
So, well, obviously most of your airdrops for coins are legit. They're worthless coins because you rarely get good airdrops. But what you do is, so you have the ETH Explorer, you have the Matic Explorer, you have Solana, whatever chain you're dealing with and your wallet address for that, you would take your wallet address and post it into the Explorer. It'll have like a search button. Put your your wallet in there and it'll tell you your whole holdings in that wallet. It'll show all your transactions from start to finish. So you can, because I was just helping Neil today, actually. Neil had switched some of his DeFi for Ether, but he didn't know. And he was right. He's like, I don't know if I did it wrapped Ether or Ether. So I'm like, okay. Then I showed Neil. I'm like, remember, Neil, we go back, check the thing. And sure enough, there was wrapped Ether. So then he was able to go into the wrapped Ether, take the contract, add it to his MetaMask, and there he could see it because he didn't know where his money had ended up. So.
Well, that's amazing.
Xeron. I use Xeron instead of Etherscan to show all my holdings.
Okay, yeah. There's obviously I don't know of all the different things, but yeah, there's multiple sites.
It's just easy. It's an app you download on your phone. You put in your ETH address, and it lists anything that's on there. And I think it lists anything. I think I got Binance coin on there too. Still,
there's Rye.
Yeah.
Rye.
Yeah.
Rye wants to know any thoughts on the XRP case. I'll be dead honest. I don't follow XRP much at all. It's still, I mean, I'm blown away right now by Cardano and how XRP held up. Obviously, Cardano right now is blowing my mind because they're all about the smart contracts coming out. Let's see if it happens. If it does, then I will bend a bit. But why did it take so long? But who knows? If Cardano does come out with that, like it was Rohit actually that gave me this advice. But he's like, oh, like, what do you think about a swap or getting in on a swap or something like that when Cardano comes out? Obviously, yeah. If Cardano actually pulls off smart contracts, you're going to want to get the first movers on Cardano. That would be a huge play.
Yeah, I've got a tiny bit of information from Mark Lazarick about XRP. He was texting us. He got tickets to the Jays game tonight, so he couldn't pop on. But he said that the Judge Netburn ruled that the SEC must turn over each document that they have been withholding from Ripple, citing privilege. SEC is going to settle. They know it's going to kill their case. And then Tim wrote back and said, but only NetBerm is going to review the documents in camera. And then Mark said, yes, and then release what is relevant. And there is a lot of relevant. He said, just remember, Ripple's legal team are all former members of the SEC. They know there's a smoking gun. He says, I think they're going to agree to a sealed settlement where Ripple will agree to accept a small fine. All communication with SEC regarding what they are considering as fair notice will be redacted and sealed, and the SEC will say that XRP and RippleNet are sufficiently centralized in its current form and does not operate as a security and therefore not to be regulated by the SEC, but rather FinCEN like Ether and Bitcoin. And then it'll be showtime. So the SEC will go after their next crypto, and XRP will have clarity to move forward. So it looks like, and I think XRP, it was dropped that they're going to get into NFTs next. So
what major company just got an NFT the other day? Neil or anyone remember?
Budweiser and Visa.
Was it Visa?
Visa. I don't know about that, but
Visa bought a CryptoPunk.
Those are insane too.
Yeah, I don't get the CryptoPunk. Like I'd love.
I don't either.
The value, but
yeah.
As someone who loves like traditional art and goes to museums and that, it's like I just don't get it. It's pixelated as can be, and I remember selling TVs at Sears, being like, this one's gonna have more pixels. It will be a clearer photo and picture, and it's like, why the hell would I want a photo that looks like that?
And I can copy and paste, and I can own the same thing. Yeah,
I know.
I don't get it.
But like, I think that's the beauty of NFTs. I think there really is going to be something for everyone.
Yeah.
Because it will start to infiltrate the collections and that. Like, I really do think that. I actually, I had a friend come over to help me do some plywood, just because I can't reach, 6 feet above my head and drill and, put everything in. So, and I showed him what I was looking at doing I was just getting ready for tonight and that. And I showed him a live race, and he's like, this is live. He's like, this is pretty interesting. And he's been hesitant with Ecomi and VV, and he really thought this was interesting. And he just was like, and then I showed him, what are those, the ape ones, like, and how much those are going for, and CryptoPunks. And he's like, what the hell are those? I'm like, well, they're your avatar. And I saw one ape that was, I think, 88,000.
Like, are you saying ape as in APE?
Yeah,
there's an ape NFT craze right now.
Yeah, it's ape.
Based something apes. Based yacht club apes or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And what do you do with the apes? Like, can you race them the same way, or are you fighting the apes?
You just sell them on OpenSea and they go.
So, you know what? Why don't you, if you want to screen share, I've got OpenSea up, and I've got Board Ape Yacht Club, and you can see what I'm talking about. So just let me know when you can see my screen.
I mean, they're cool looking. Like, I'm not going to take that away, but they're not worth what I could buy a piece of land for, obviously.
Yeah. So like, this one's got different values and that. So this is OpenSea.
You have to share it.
I was going to say, do you get to see it?
You got to share it at the bottom.
Okay, there we go.
Oh my gosh, Neil, I've been so excited about this all week.
It still hasn't come up here, brother.
Cool.
All right. Share audio.
Share screen.
It's just not. Sorry, it's not letting me go there.
It's a button at the bottom. Should be a button at the bottom.
It's when I go to share though, it's not letting me hit it. This is frustrating. So.
It's got mute, camera, share, invite. No?
Well, you guys keep talking. I'll try and get this working.
All right,
okay.
So it'll just buzz in.
All right. So, Mr. Tim Perry, I know that we only had you for a short period of time, and we're getting close to the time.
Yeah, about 10 minutes maybe, yeah.
Yeah. So anything else new and exciting that you think, have you been following any new projects that you could intimate at, or are you just still going down the same course?
I mean, obviously I'm always keeping my ear to the ground on other projects, but nothing has changed my mind on what happened in May that really caused my brain to shift, which was liquidity issues, right? I mean, actually the problem right now with most of these NFTs is they're illiquid. They can't sell them. Some of them are worth apparently hundreds of thousands of dollars, but you can't sell it. You can't do anything, right?
Yeah.
So you need liquidity. And then obviously you have all these Solana and all these things pumping, and it's like, I'll admit, like personally, I don't love the price action of Root and DeFi. Unfortunately, they kind of go hand in hand with each other at this point. But at the same time, it's like I can't break away from that mindset right now that everything else that they're going to be cross swapping with is going nuts right now, and they're going to literally be able to interact with all of them. So it's like. Maybe it's just, I post on my Twitter, the darkest day is or the dawn is just before the darkest day. And I just get the feeling we're just gonna and a good news. Sometimes I find in crypto, you always get a fake out first. You get a fake breakout to obviously get people FOMOing, and then it crashes down because most of those people are just like following the chart. Then they crash sell. And then all of a sudden it goes on a tear. And like, in my opinion, if you're a market maker, and don't forget, you got bots and everything that follow these things. But you have Root mainnet, which they now obviously it's been delayed from April, but they're like, it is going to be September. So you're going to have cross-chain liquidity and all this for all these different platforms and stuff. And then obviously DeFi is going to follow with the cross-chain swapping, and it's coming so soon. So it's like, don't be greedy, don't be emotional, just take the pain for now. And in the long run, I think I'll be able to say I was right. So.
No, I still think you're right. And I was saying to these guys last week that, and I know a lot of people don't like him, but Kevin O'Leary was on Anthony Pompliano, and what I thought was the most interesting thing he said was that from corporate financial wall of money is going to come pouring in, but not until the point where they can easily put, they have to be able to find a way to declare this easily to their shareholders and their oversight committees. And once that's figured out, and he knows for sure there are people that are working on projects to be able to allow for financial, for the financial industry. And then he says that because he's talking to all sorts of big businesses who want to get into the space, but they're facing the same thing he's facing. He goes, there's so many cool projects out there. He said to Pomp, literally there will be a wall of money that will come flooding into this space as soon as they've solved for this.
Yeah. And you hear a lot, like Elon joked about it when he was taunting crypto there for a bit, but he's just like, I was just testing liquidity. Like all these big companies are always mentioning liquidity. And that's it. It was like this big elephant in the room that I just refuse to acknowledge. When you look at Thorchain, Rune, which is a similar thing, and stuff like that, and they're all pumping. You look at the market cap of Uniswap and Sushi versus DeFi and stuff like this. And obviously cross chains are a big deal. You still hear about Poly. Poly had one of the biggest hacks of all time, which was 600 million a couple weeks ago. And that's cross chain. And the reason why Root has been delaying is they had all these bug bounties to ensure that doesn't happen as much. So if you create a cross chain that is much more ironclad with not getting hacked, that's going to also play well. So it's just like all these things are pulling off, and it's just like it's unheard of, right? So that means if this does get found, then you're looking at big multiples, but it has to be found because I'm still high on Union. Like Union's actually been kind of doing okay lately. It's starting to look okay because of what they're doing with more foreign. Obviously, they split that token to more, MOAR. But just their collateralization thing with what they've got for loans now and lending for big things. Now they just need liquidity and they need stuff like that. And they're partnered with Rubber. right? So it's like all these little things are there. I mean, that's how I discovered Router originally, was thanks to Union. So
right.
And you just said it. There's so many good quality coins now. Like if this was 2017 and we were talking 2018, most of them are gone. The shining ones like Aave and stuff are like now just way ahead of its time. And it's not performing now. You don't see these gems just pumping left, right, and center because there's 10,000 coins now on the market roughly, as opposed to probably 2,000 at the time, if I recall, 3,000 coins. So it was a lot easier to see green all the way down every page. So now I used to obviously attain that, like find the gems and sit on them. But no, you really got like, you're going to hopefully speculate, and your speculate's going to go right, because even some really good quality coins may not be found. But who knows?
Who knows? Neil, how you doing?
I'm ready to rock.
Yay!
Okay, you got to share it because I got to see it come up here for me to share.
I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, no, that's okay.
I was just talking until you.
No, it won't come up. It just, I got to see. Okay, there we are. All right.
So exciting.
There's something naked on your screen.
Stop it.
Oh, it's a horse. Never mind.
No, that's me. I am my horse. No, that's
Oh.
mine. So this is Zed Run. As you can see, it's Zed.run. And so I'm just going to jump right in it. So there's a first generation horse, and there's only going to ever be 38,000 of them. Their overall rarity is super rare, and they are called the Genesis. So this is the top bloodline, Nakamoto, and there are 4 bloodlines within each breed. And so you'll see Nakamoto is the top one, and it's just saying it's the most celebrated thoroughbred, given that they are the purest racehorses that exist. So Genesis is the top of the line, start only 38,000 ever, and then these are going to be the horses you use to breed to create more horses, and that's how the game is going to continue to grow.
Hey, Neil, will you just see where it says hide there on your thing?
Not you. Hide that little bar. Yeah.
Just so I can read the names. So you got Nakamoto, Zabo, Finney, and Buterin.
Yes.
That's funny.
So so then next you're just seeing here, they're just talking about, this is what this one's all about. And the one I'm looking at just for price raise and to kind of get involved with is Buterin. And then when I click on this, you'll see, availability, it's high to very high. Its purity is less, and it's a much more common horse. So like, that's the first right there.
Okay. So what would, just so I'm understanding, what would that cost to get one of them?
Well, it would depend on what you're looking for. So you're looking from basically for a Genesis, probably $1,000 minimum for Buterin, all the way up to, I've seen probably 4 or 5 ETH. But those generally are the ones that have already raced, have quite a running or a racing reputation, very high success rate, and you can make money off them racing. So like, that's the first part. But then when you look at it, there's another part of this game that I'm going to get into first that I'm the most interested in, is the breeding aspect. And so what you're seeing here is that each one of these horses can be bred. And I don't have the listing here, but the way it works is the Genesis is the top horse, followed by the Legendary. Then it goes to the Exclusive, and then it goes to Elite, and then it goes to Pacer. And so what you'll see here is on the screen, you'll see that there's Legendaries and so on, Buterin, Nakamoto, and so on. But each one has a different kind of coat. So the coats are very, very full. But what I want to jump into here, what originally got me, is we're going to go and try and get into a live race right here.
Yes!
And these, if I lag in that, I'm sorry, but we'll see how this goes.
If you're lagging, Neil, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So obviously I'm helping Gary here because I'm curious too. Is there a way to retain your investment?
So what do you mean by retain? Like, can you sell the horse and so on?
It's a good question. I obviously thought that's what
you mean is like
hold value and then sell.
Yeah. So what you could do is not all of the Genesis 38,000 have been released yet. So there will be drops. Actually, this is going to take a bit because it's always the longest. So this would be Marketplace. So as you can see, they have none available now, but they basically get sold out within an hour or so when the Genesis drop. And I believe they're around $500-600. So, but in that you could get anywhere from a Buterin, a Zavo, Nakamoto. Like, it depends. It's kind of luck of the draw, but it's less expensive than on OpenSea. After that, if you wanted to and you raced them and you said, you know what, I don't like this horse, I didn't want this horse, I totally want to get out, you go on OpenSea, or there's actually another site here called Haku, which is actually, if you can see it here, is a number of horses also listed here. And this is just showing you, depending on what they are, you know, the price, 0.1 ETH, 0.3. These are the least desired ones because Genesis is the most rare, the most desired. And as you can see here, exclusive, elite, cross. These are lower on the scale. But then if you look here, there's a Genesis mare. That's actually not too bad. 1 ETH. So
okay, but when you, in the 2 screens ago, you were showing us what you could get for breeding fees. So does that mean somebody would send, so say we as a group owned 1 horse. Every time you bred that, then us as a group would make that kind of money. Is that what it is? Okay, here's the race. And can you bet on the races too?
Not yet, but I would imagine with something like this, that it would be coming because they would want you to do more and more. So here's a full screen. Hopefully everyone likes this, and this goes, and you can see the roster on the left. But right now they've only got a single track, and what you can see here is that this is the Newham Classic Mile. It is a 1,600 meter race, and it's time to go. And you can see that this is live. Distances? Yeah, and there's different distances. I think the lowest is 800 meters, and the longest is 2,500. So this race is happening live.
Look at the fifth one, the black and white one there.
And as you can see, there's a number of different coats, but they're all going to have different abilities. And for this, another bullish thing, Tim, for you and Matic is, I think it was 2 months ago, right after I started following it, Zed Run moved to the Matic network and Polygon from ETH.
Smart move.
And so that's pretty bullish. And the top 3 horses here, so I don't know what it was for the entry, but when I was looking today, the 3 races that I saw when I first looked were $10, $12, and $80. And
so then we would have to pay to get into the race, is what you're saying?
100%. You would be paying to enter the race, and only the top 3 take any prizes.
And is there anything you have to do to these horses? Like, do you have to add something to them or whatever to make sure you got a winner?
You need to, well, that's in your research and the curves and so on. And so you'd have to be looking, but it just depends. But you can look at prehistory. You can look at bloodlines as in, like, is it a Nakamoto? Is it a Buterin? Is it bred from 2 Genesis and a winning Genesis? So right here, you can see that it's getting down to the last little bit here. And this is the race. They've also said that they're going to be making it so that you can do, and it's going to be more of a traditional track, so that it will be like an oval type thing. And they're also going to be setting up tournaments. This race is getting pretty tight right now.
No kidding.
And you can see the little, the little rabbit going along the rail there, you know? Oh.
And yeah, and so that was the race. It cost nothing to watch and so on. And here's the end. So it's just like horse racing. I never did a lot of it, but I did go to the track and I loved it. And so there you go.
Go ahead, Tim.
How much to breed, Neil?
How much to breed? So it would depend. So I'm seeing stuff from. So this is the replay from probably about $120. And these are Genesis horses because people want to breed with, the top, but for a Buterin, but they wouldn't have very good racing. And then I saw like 1 ETH, 2 ETH to breed with these horses that have, 10 wins out of 15 starts and 2 shows and so on.
So
that's what.
Sure. Yes. So my plan, or what I'm looking at doing, is buying a male Genesis horse and 3 legendary colts or mares and breeding them myself and then I would get to keep the offspring. So if you're paying the stud fee, you only get paid to provide, the stud, and that's it. Like the person who has the mare gets to keep that horse. So my whole idea is if I say I'll go to another area to show you. Say I decided to go ahead and breed the horses and decide to go another way. Okay, here you go. So you can see here, $265 to race this, and there's 2 gates left. The next one's $15, and the next one after that is $493. And if you go into them, you're going to see the length and distance. I don't have any horses, so I can't race. But all you need is a horse, and you get 1 free race for any horse. But it doesn't count. Like if you buy a horse and it's been raced, you don't get a free race. It has to be an unraced horse. And you get 1 of those free races, and that's to try and help you identify what kind of horse it is.
Is this connected to
down the page? Yes. And so today I've moved a bunch of stuff around. I sold some Define. I also sold some stable coins, and I bought wrapped ETH. And I'm going to go and after the show, I think I've got my plan. I'm going to go try and create a stable. It just depends on how the first purchase goes, because I've never bought anything on OpenSea. And now what I'll do is I'll get into OpenSea. If you haven't seen this, this is an NFT marketplace. And just right here, this is just got some quick filters here. This is stallions, so male horses, and Genesis. So the cheapest one here is 0.29 ETH. So this is for the most common Genesis horse that you could get. You can see there's purple, as they say on Jeopardy, light purple, and you've got a number of ones here. And it would basically depend. My original strategy from what I was looking was I was thinking black or white just because they tend to be the most popular. But then when I was doing my research, I found a color that had a number of unnamed colts. And what that means is they have not been named. And if they're a colt, or not a colt, unnamed foal, she hasn't been bred yet. So what that means is that this would be the first of a line. And one thing I am looking at is another aspect that you can do is it's called super coats. So say you pick 2 of the same horses and they were the same color and they produced an offspring of that color, you would be able to identify that as a super coat, which would make that horse more unique and more desirable or more rare. So as you can see here, like if we went in here, I'll show you some of my tricks. We'll just jump in here and maybe we'll see, and there's 2 males in this color, and you could go ahead and see. But the last part of this, and this is why I think it might not be the easiest to get into this, because it is going to be a lot of work, is it's called Know Your Horses. And this is actually how. So I'm going to go in here on OpenSea, and this is where, they're taking offers. You can see the offers have been increasing or the sales happened, right? And if you look, where is it here? I want to go to properties and details. And what it is we want to know more about this horse. There we go. So you can see that it's a Buterin, it's a Genesis, its color, I'm not going to try and say, and its genome is Z10. What that means is the original drop would be a Z1 Genesis horse. And then it would go from Z1 to, I think they're going to have about 20 drops. This is just conjecture and what I've kind of listened to and read a little bit. But say you had 2 Genesis horses, one was a Z4 and one was a Z6, that would make this Z10 genome type, which means that this is only 10 away from the original line. So the lower your Z number, the more valuable the horse.
The more valuable. That makes sense. It's like a painting, right? If it's an original print, it's got, the closer it is to 0, the more valuable it is.
So we want to know more about this horse, and we want to know what we're buying. So I'm going to go, this is called Know Your Horses. You can follow them on Twitter, all that. And this one's called Signifying Death. And if I'm ruining the show, I do apologize to the Danters.
No, I'm fascinated by this.
So what you're seeing here is this horse has been raced once. They finished 7th. What else? And now we want to know, they are a Genesis. So, they've been raced once, so they're pretty new out of the box. And they were from, I guess, the 10th drop, or their 10th from the beginning. So if we went to, say, we go back here and we went to a legendary, and I'll do this just so you can see OpenSea and how it can be pretty interesting. It's not the easiest to always use. I'm going to kill that because it's going to be slow. So what it is if you go to the legendary, though, which is when two Genesis horses are bred together, or one Genesis and a legendary are bred, you can actually see the lineage of the horse, who was bred, who their mom is, who their father is, and if it goes that far, if it goes to their grandparents and how old this horse is. But each time it gets bred, there is a chance that it becomes, okay, so it's just slow right now, that it becomes less unique, more common, less desirable. And that's why people are really starting to look. And that's why I'm interested now, is because it is very early. Not all the horses have been released. I believe they've only released about 20,000 of the 38,000 Genesis horses.
Wow.
I want to get rid of that.
So we had a question. Rohit is saying, do you control the race, or is it autoplay?
So it is auto. What they do is they actually... what they do is they run it, simulate it 1,000 times, and arbitrarily pick one of those 1,000 runs, simulations. So I believe those simulations are taking when you see the horse, walking up and they're going before the gate, and all those simulations are running. And then at one point they go through. So like, we're going to see this CryptoPunk Zombie. How about that? That looks good. So this is a legendary horse. That means that it either has one Genesis parent or two. But now what we're going to do, and the reason why I wanted to find a legendary, so I just want to steal this name. I'm a big fan of copy and paste, especially when I'm in my temporary location. So we're back on Know Your Horses. There are other sites. I just haven't really looked at them too much. So here you go. This is CryptoPunk Zombie. We're going to click on CryptoPunk. We want to know more about CryptoPunk Zombie. So they've raced 12 times. They are a negative 38% return on investment when you look at the bottom right towards the top. And they win 8.33% of the time in place. So finish second or first, 8.33, and show 8.33, which means if they don't win, they don't show. But then right here, if you see here, CryptoPunk Zombie, their father and mother are Fairly Hot and CryptoPunk. And they are both Genesis. So you are getting a legendary horse that was bred from two Genesis.
Okay, so a couple of things come to mind through all of this. I'm still not clear how I make money. I'm clear that I can make money by breeding this. But I'm not clear why somebody would be interested in breeding with my horse, and what makes my horse more valuable than another horse to breed with. Like, I get the bloodline for sure, and the rarity of what it is. Ken, are you following this, or is this just me that's a little bit lost? Not lost. I'm just curious.
So what I'm going to do is let me unshare, and then I'll kind of chat with you, because I don't really know what I'm doing. How do I unshare now? Stop screen share. There we go.
There you go.
So a few things you could do are, if I had a Genesis male, I could put him out there to stud. And so say I bought him for $1,200 and I put him up for $100 each time. If I breed him 12 times, I'd have my money back.
Okay.
Say I buy, like I'm looking at, maybe you just buy a Genesis mare and Genesis stallion. You breed them. You've got a legendary. You sell it for $400.
Yep.
And say you sent 2,600. That would take so many times to get your money back. But the whole idea is that if you say you bred a horse that became a winner, or you did your free race and it wins it, and then it shows some of its stats and its skills, and it's like, okay, this one I lucked out, because the breeding isn't the only thing, and not everyone really knows. how the breeding works because the game is new and there's new updates coming and they're trying to find a way to make it a little bit more accessible. I'm looking at about $2,500 to get started.
Interesting. And so, okay.
And that's going to be 4 horses, I'm hoping, with 1 Genesis.
Okay. And so I'm thinking in my mind that because the way you showed it, we had to buy it using ETH. So if we're holding that like an asset in ETH, as ETH goes up, on the assumption that the horse remains to the same value that you bought it at, then you're really just holding an ETH, but you get to play with ETH.
You could look at it that you're taking more of a gamble, right? Because this is very specialized. Like I could show this, half the audience is probably like, this is, I'm turning this off. This is ridiculous, right? Like, but I think it could be very valuable, right? Because the Genesis especially, there's only ever going to be 38,000.
I know. Well,
right?
Neil, think about it. Think about it. Somebody paid how much money for an Ether rock that they couldn't even do anything with?
Yes. And the whole, I just find this fascinating. I've always liked, horses and horse racing. I used to love going to the track, especially when people were like, oh, we got nothing to do. It'd be like, I used to live in North Burlington. I used to head to Mohawk Raceway and watch the Pacers. And I love the Pacers, right? So this is interesting. And I do think some of the pieces that are selling on OpenSea that are really interesting, but I don't care to spend a couple $1,000s for an avatar that may or may not be worth money. Whereas this, if I work at it and get better and actually start maybe identifying some good traits, pick up a couple, I could actually make this into something that's sustained and, actually gave me a chance. My whole idea is that I'd like to be able to just increase the amount of horses, but the biggest way I think I'm going to try and reduce my risk is go for these super coats. I'm going to buy all horses with the same coat so that, not only could they have this brilliant coat and be more rare, but maybe that racer comes out and someone's like, I got to have it. I'm just trying to be more conservative with the colors. I don't want to be like, oh, I'm going to go get purple for my girls. And nobody wants purple, right? So that's why I was kind of thinking black and white. They're pretty safe. A black horse, black stallion, white horse, they're iconic. But I did find some other ones that I think are really good opportunities. So it's kind of, I'm waiting it out. I'm hoping I tried to transfer. I created another Zed wallet in my MetaMask. And before I went to pick up my girls, my children, I sent a wrapped ETH from one account to the other. I just didn't have time to check it yet.
Interesting.
So I'm lining up to hopefully do something.
Do you know the time frame in between breeding?
1 month.
1 month?
1 month. So that's one.
This could turn out to be good passive income, really.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why I'm looking at some legendary, not Colts, not Phillies. What are they? I just said them a few times. Full, because they haven't been bred. So no one knows what they're going to produce, what they are. And one of my ideas is if you did well and you say sold a few, you could turn that around and then maybe go get another Genesis male of that coat color. And then maybe you turn into that one and then maybe branch out. And what I'd love to do is if I did money or did well and made some money was to jump into the next highest, category. Right. But I am going to start at the bottom because another good point I saw though was there's going to be 38,000, but how many of these people are going to forget about their wallets, are going to forget about it in general, or just say, I don't care. It's dumb. I was stupid to do it. I'm too embarrassed to do anything. So those 38,000 are not going to actually be 38,000. And right now at $1,100, it is a lot of money, but it might not be a lot of money. Then Nakamoto, they're super popular. They're very high priced. Everything else looks like it's underpriced. I'd love to go a little bit higher than the Buterin. If I'm going to make a stable and try and make this because that's how I want to do it. I want it to be self-sufficient. I can't just buy, one horse.
Right.
So that's kind of my strategy. I've been thinking about this. Like, I think I figured this out or got onto it about 6 weeks ago. And
It's amazing.
I'm kind of shocked that Tim's so into it now, because he's already told me all the NFT stuff I've done, and it's he's all about the cash. But he's like, wow, like he actually is thinking, he's like, maybe I do want a stable because I want a winner. Like he wants to breed winners, like racers is what he wants. Whereas I'm kind of looking at like just different options.
Sure.
I just think it's a really cool, like it's a breeding game where you can race what you're breeding. Like I just think it's neat. So I took a deep dive.
It's
That's very
amazing.
cool.
Thank
cool.
you
Thanks
so much for sharing it. Marie Claude said DeRace is trying to do the same thing as Zed, and they are allowing you to import NFT horses from anywhere, which is that's really cool. Thanks for sharing that. And
check that out.
Yeah. No. That's really good. Candace is saying she's waiting for fighting dinosaurs. I'm surprised Ryan hasn't piped in about this. He was the one really gung ho about the NFT racehorses. So it'll be interesting to see what he has to say about the whole thing. But
he's doing a deep dive now after seeing a lot.
Yeah, he probably is. He's probably on his computer looking at it.
He's at DEFCON 5.
I know. But, as much as I know that you're saying that about the colors, but it'll be interesting to see if everybody has the same strategy as you with the darker colors, whether the purple ones, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not going to try to derail you, but it'd be interesting to see if like those off color ones will actually be the ones that are coveted down the line, like the rare unicorn type thing.
Well, my starting point is I want stuff I'm going to try and get stuff that people are interested in, especially newbies, right? Because that's where everything is. But as you move along, I would definitely see myself, like if I had money, nice, right? And I wouldn't be against at all buying a horse that was a racer that, had the bloodlines or say actually had results. I wouldn't care what color it was if I thought it was going to win. What I'm doing is I'm just trying to, I also want to just try, if I'm going to start it, I want to start a little bit smaller. It's why I've been so tentative lately, because when I started in March, I just started buying and buying and buying. And I know I learned a valuable lesson in that, and that's why I've been taking. But like, I don't know if I called Phantom, but I was talking about Phantom for a couple weeks. And on Sunday, Tim's like, did you buy any? Because if not, don't look at CoinGecko. And I'm down visiting my parents. I'm staying at a tiny home at my friend's property. And I just didn't do it because it's like, driving down and all that. And and he's like, he was asking me about it when we were chatting. He's like, why? Like, why Phantom? I'm like, I just have this feeling. And he's just like, that's ridiculous, Neil. So maybe things are changing and maybe Zed Run will be profitable.
Oh, well, I will tell you that one of the things I got in my inbox tonight at 5:30 p.m. was that Wealthsimple said, starting today, you can buy and sell 4 new coins on Wealthsimple Crypto. Say hi to Decentraland. So you're going to be able to get Mana. You're going to be able to get Yuma. You're going to be able to get Phantom, FTM, and 1 inch. And by the way, they're giving away $1,000 to 20 lucky winners to build up their crypto portfolio. They're telling you to head over to Instagram or Twitter to learn how you can enter.
And 1 inch is also trading as 2.2 centimeters.
Interesting. Metric now, right? Is that the Canadian version of 1 inch? I like.
You're very quick tonight. You're very quick.
Anyways, another piece of news, though, I did see earlier today. Apparently, Twitter is experimenting with a tip function in Bitcoin using the Lightning Network.
Yes, I saw that too. That's cool.
That's interesting.
Marie Claude said, I might have missed it, but can you invest in Zed? Like, do they have a coin?
No. So it is a blockchain game.
Chain game.
So it's a game on the blockchain. So there's no Zed coin. If you wanted to invest in Zed, you'd need to buy a horse, basically, right? Like that would be the coin in that sense.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Right? Like that's how I would put it, because it's an NFT. Okay. I just think it's got one thing Tim's always said since I started was utility, right? Yeah. This is an NFT that you could possibly make money off of. breed to make more NFTs, right? Which is, pretty interesting. Like, you couldn't be like, okay, to this artist, I'm going to buy this, and unless you said it, I get the next 3 pieces of work you did, right? Unless you made that deal, like, I'm going to fund your next 10 pieces, and this is what you get, and I get your art, right? So, like, that's the way I'm looking at it. It's just very different and very unique, and it's only been going for about 2 years, but the intake and the uptake is really starting to get strong. Because if you look at some of these stables, they are gigantic. Like, people are 50, 60, 70, over 100 horses deep.
Whoa.
My God. Well, you know what? Go ahead.
And like, some of them, they're not racing them. They're not breeding them. They are
holding,
basically in a package, like in the wrapper, because nothing's been done with them. So nothing about this horse.
That's amazing.
The best horse. It could be, as the one guy watched, it could be a donkey.
Well, it's true. But what I like about it is there's a randomness to when you breed them together. I think, if I'm thinking about it correctly, it's an algorithm that the computer, the program is generating a random. So it's no different than buying a lottery ticket. So Tim goes to the lottery store, and it generates a random set of numbers. To you, it's generating a random set of attributes instead of numbers, and that's what makes the darn thing so valuable. So, because if you're having trouble getting your head wrapped around this like me, I'm really, really, really trying to get my head wrapped around how this gets monetized, and to me, that's how this looks like it gets monetized.
I would go, when you get a chance, check out zrun.io, and then check out OpenSea. I've actually just been going through OpenSea because I was like, maybe I should start cruising this and just taking a chance on a few things that might be, low risk. Because we are, like everyone said, for crypto, the last bull run that I've heard was the Wild West. Well, that's what the NFTs is right now.
Yeah.
Like, there is stuff that people are spending a fortune on that people are going to laugh their ass off when they show them or tell them that they spent, $200,000 for that, and they can't even get rid of it for $200.
I know.
Right. And I honestly, I don't get the rocks. I could be wrong. I love art, and I hope I'm wrong, because I think NFTs are really cool. But I think if you find something that's pretty neat for a good price with the possibility of cult-like following, especially if there's limited numbers, jump on it. Like, there's Pudgy Penguins or something. And I was watching this video, and this guy's like, I am my penguin. And you don't know if he's actually serious or not, but he's getting all worked up. He's like, my penguin is me. And since this happened, and he's like getting so worked up about how it's changed his life. And I think they're called Pudgy Penguins. And it's like, if it can cause people to go, or like on the, Bored Ape Club, go ape, they might be worth getting involved. Like,
oh my gosh.
I am not turning into a penguin.
No. You wouldn't make a good penguin. Maybe an ape. Kevin wants to know, do you use wrapped ETH on the Matic chain to purchase these?
That is what I'm trying to figure out. I would imagine so, because they are on the Polygon network. So that's what I'm going to go through tonight. That was my guess, just because I didn't see why I would be going on the Ethereum mainnet to buy it off OpenSea to then transfer it to my Matic, chain to race it. So I'm going to have to do a little bit more research on that, but that's what I believe. And that's why when I do decide to do this, I'm going to buy the cheapest horse first, just in case.
No, that's amazing. Mark Sauve wants to know, what is the coin name for the Lightning Network?
Bitcoin.
It's Bitcoin. It's just the network they're using to make better transactions, right? Make it more useful.
Yes. It's so right. And I just completely forgot about that. But anyways, well, Ken, any thoughts on this?
It's interesting. Very, very. I'm going to actually look into it.
Oh, no.
Well, and if, say, everyone started to get involved, right, what we could easily do is be like, okay, you stud your horse to this, and I'll give you this, and like, you would just be getting different bloodlines. So that's why when I get involved, I'm trying to reach out and start a community, because you could just trade horses, because if you keep breeding, right, you're going to breed them. I don't know what would happen on blockchain, but it's generally not a good idea. So
not a good idea to cross your swords.
Yes, for sure. Especially crossing family swords.
Okay. On that note, I think I've absorbed as much of this I can tonight. We might have to. We'll regroup next week. I will be curious to see how this all plays out. And if you do end up getting a stable, we would love to see your stable and what that all looks like. And I'm assuming you're doing that in Decentraland. And
he's going to do that now.
I know.
Hey, when do you go up north?
I think that's the 15th. I just got the in-laws to take the kids, so yeah, I'm on my way. I've already got my 2 fishing rods picked out. Bought some extra line. Yeah, gonna have to look about getting a fishing license in Quebec, which would be out of province.
Do you honestly think that someone's going to be up that far in the woods checking to see if you've got a license?
There's like 80 people watching right now.
What? Where?
Man, one of them's a game warden in North Quebec.
Well, have I got an NFT for him?
Oh, geez. We're going to do things above board, for heaven's sake, Tim. And so,
like
Marie,
$20.
there you go. Marie Claude says, Ken, what do you think? Where do you think Saitama can go?
If they come through with everything they've said, it's going to change some things. That's for sure. If they can be the cheapest DEX on the Ethereum network, then they're going to have a lot of people going there to buy coins. They're coming out with some kind of video game as well. There was also something about some kind of like live content that you can get tipped on and stuff like that. I don't. There's a lot. They're working on a lot. I'm not sure how it's all going to play out. But their wallet's supposed to be released next month, so that's the first step. So yeah. I think it's going to go good. I think it's going to go really good.
That's amazing. And Neil, Wissam is saying, what if the horses were related? What would happen?
I'm not too sure, but if it was like traditional genetics, right? And they're running these computations and they're running these statistics, you're going to increase the likelihood that there are going to be problems with that horse down the line. Especially, right, if you bred very close family members, there are generally medical problems that happen with animals and humans in that process. So if this is an equation that's run through the blockchain, I would imagine that if you do that, at some point you might get a horse that, I don't know,
walks backwards.
But like or maybe nothing happens, but say I was buying a horse and I saw that its grandfather was also its brother, I would be like,
you can't say that stuff out loud, Neil. I'm going wild right now in my imagination of comments. You can't say that to me.
I get where you're going.
It's like the horses are all sitting around the campfire having beer and beans and beer, and one lets one go, and the other guy says, "Hoof-hearted."
But like, I would just stay away from that horse. Like, I wouldn't be interested in it, right?
Yeah, so it would be worthless. No. It wouldn't be worth anything.
Like,
they would probably pick it up.
It's like if you say you married your cousin and you're from a small town, you move away, nobody knows. This is on the blockchain. Everybody's going to know you married your cousin.
Oh, dear
or
God.
Your sister, right? So like, if you saw that, you'd be like, okay, so this one's just recycling everyone, not really doing it. Like, I just wouldn't be interested, because if I'm going to get money from people that are interested in that, they're going to see that and be like, no thanks.
Right.
Yeah. Just like real life.
Just like in real life.
I'd imagine that, yes.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense.
This is amazing. This has been a wonderful, wonderful show tonight. And we're going to keep talking about this, because I think that this is still something that's going to get bigger and bigger. I think you're right, Neil. I think there's use case for this that people will find interesting. They go on and they gamble online. I mean, there's a huge online gambling industry.
And if I'm just looking at it, they're talking about doing tournaments, or where you're from in the word tournaments. And what it is they're going to have races like 3 in a day, and there's going to be fatigue now. So different
Oh,
horses. So like a horse, I think it's called Butterbean. It's like the winningest horse. It either finishes first or second or 11th or 12th, and that's what you want, because when it hits 11th or 12th, it gets declassed down, and when it wins, it goes up. But the winning is where you get all your money. It has no endurance. So I saw this interview with its owner, and he's like, I wouldn't put this horse in a tournament because it wouldn't be able to run after once because it doesn't have that ability. So if that opens up, and what I think would be really cool, and I'm just, throwing stuff at the wall, and if it sticks, great. Imagine they did a steeplechase, and then all of a sudden there's a new event because it's jumping over water, and it's like, that would be pretty neat, especially if they do the oval track. It probably wouldn't be that hard to do a steeple. Like, I think there's a lot of things. Who knows? Maybe they decide to bust out an equestrian part. I wouldn't be that interested in that, but maybe people would be. But like, I really do think there's a possibility of having maybe sprint races where they're like drag races almost with your horses, as well as steeplechases, as well as your other traditional races. And if that happens that way, and the game keeps growing and building, and they keep adding these different factors, endurance, stride rate, all that, and it changes up, if you really figured it out, you might be able to do really well. But I just think it's interesting, and it's really captured my attention, and why I've tried to put it to bed and put it away. Like, I only just added some of the stuff to Twitter like this week, and I keep coming back to it. And I've told people, and they think I'm, as my mom said, I'm bloody crazy, but that's cool because, it's something that I'm interested in, and it's a lot cheaper than buying a horse.
Yep.
I'll tell my kids, it's like, oh, I'll buy you a horse, no problem. Like, here you go.
Yeah, come see our stables in Decentraland.
I could just imagine their faces.
Oh, this is cool. This is really cool. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us again tonight. We've had a good discussion, and I know we're looking forward to it next week. I hope everybody has a safe, happy, long weekend. Stay safe, and we will see you back shortly. Take care, everybody.
Have a good night.